1.5, a little mini episode where we pick up from the end of last campaign, kind of put the pieces back together after everything that's happened. When we last left the group, Malleus had just been resurrected with the Dark Blade Durion, and as Sirris lies burned just outside of the city of Heathcliff, the party hears a light chirping, and upon searching in his bag, they find a baby red dragon.
Oh yeah, you told me I found that. I opened his. Oh.
Yes. And that is where we will start this game. So, Valus is dead, Thale is MIA, and Sirris is burned to a crisp and left lying in the street.
No, he's breathing.
Go out on a limb here and say that I'm probably super unconscious.
Let's get. I will pick him. I'm gonna assume. Okay. So, if you're gonna go with, you're just gonna pass out, like not unconscious throwing death saving throws, but you're just gonna pass out, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. When I pick him up to go put him on my shoulder, does his armor articulate?
Does his armor articulate, as in, does it move in normal bodily movements?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking?
Yep.
It does appear to be welded in certain spots.
Great.
Particularly around the chest and arms area.
So he's not
an easy carry.
Easy for you. Well,
all right.
I'm gonna
not with the plate mail. With the plate,
I'm going to fireman carry him on my shoulders. So basically, I'm gonna put my arm up under his crotch. And
I heard I'm going, and then silence.
I'm gonna put my arm up under his crotch, and fireman just lift him that way across my shoulders, and fireman. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, we're playing.
I am going
toward. I'm gonna follow Xan. Hey, we're going to the place where you got the.
We need to get
him to a cleric now.
Okay, and
now.
Okay. I start walking. Towards the church.
You better start walking.
But I'm also trying to.
I have got the grandma mall walk going.
But
I have the ability with how much you.
I'm also trying to peep into the pocket where I hear the chirp.
Briefly before we continue, can you guys see me moving? Because
no.
Okay.
I reloaded and your camera is cut out for me.
Yeah, I thought that was the case. I'm reloading now. Any better? No? Nothing?
Not for me.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal.
I mean, it's mostly a verbal episode, right?
Yeah. It's just a mini episode anyway. So, okay, you carry him off towards the still being constructed cathedral.
Am I in the cathedral yet, or coming close?
At this point in time, it's the middle of the night. Everything is quite dark. There's not many people out on the streets. You can make it there pretty quickly. You are entering from the east side of town, which is the place where you exited. So at this point, you're kind of familiar. You know your way around. You make it to the cathedral, which again is still being constructed. The only part that you can see is fully built is the orphanage. The actual cathedral itself, the roof isn't on it, basically.
I'm yelling for a
cleric.
I start banging on the door.
Immediately, the father comes out, the same person who you'd met before, and he looks over your group and says, "My goodness, what's happened?"
He's a little toasty. We need to do something.
I look at it.
He's partially welded.
I have bad news and some worse news. Let's get in.
Let's go around to the front of the cathedral. I don't want to wake the children. Come quickly. And he waves you over towards the side of the entrance to the cathedral. So, Father Satera, that was his name. So, after entering, he says, "What's happened? Where's Valis?"
I'll let. I just go silent.
So the thing is, do you know who?
He's dead.
Dead. I
Stabbed right in front of me by Durian. Literally ripped his soul out of his body.
The name sounds familiar. Durian.
Dark blade. We need to go get Lolly and
Fabric?
get Rosalind now.
The dark sword, it's back.
Yes. We need to get Lolly at now.
Okay,
I'm actually choking on chicken. That's what that was. Sorry.
that's fine. He says, "I will heal your friend. You must go immediately and alert the council. Please, I will take care of your friend. Please, you must go now and tell the king."
I grab
Grab
Xan.
Xan by the arm and start running.
I guess I'm being dragged.
Yeah. Miss 110 pounds soaking wet.
130.
Sirris, you are now stable, floating at 20 hit points. However, you're still unconscious, and he's continuing to heal you throughout this process, trying to take care of, well, the more superficial damage.
What he can reach.
Yeah. Okay, you're headed off towards the keep, which is not far from where you're at. In no time, you reach the entrance and are greeted by 2 guards. They cross their halberds and say, "Speak. Why do you come at such a late hour?"
Malleus is
Malleus
back.
is back. We have to talk to Lolly at now.
"You seek counsel with the king in the middle of the night?"
Here's a coin. I pull it out of my bag. Yes, I do.
Unless you want to.
It's the coin of the. I get to talk to the king. Yeah. I didn't use mine.
Okay, I see. Very well. Fine. Enter. You, Rolf, escort them. And another guard goes with you.
I start running, so he needs to keep.
He's trying to keep pace in full plate mail. He's a good 10 feet behind you.
I'm running a little faster.
You're being dragged. What is your movement speed?
35.
30.
Yours is minus 35. That's why I'm asking what yours is. Is yours 30? You're being.
Oh, 30. Okay. Every 2 or 3 steps, you're lifted off of your feet and pulled forward. You reach the entrance. 2 large oak doors that you've seen before. They open with a creak into the hall of the king's chambers, which are now empty. You've been here before during the town council meeting, but now it's silent. Every footstep is an echo in the darkness.
I turn towards the guard. You need to go alert the other guards at the life or death.
Do you have anything at all to show me that you're...
We have a dead Valis on the front door. Now go.
1 dead citizen is not need for the king. Do you
He's
have
got
something to show me that you have some sway here?
I hand him the coin that I still have.
Oh, I look at. I go into my.
It's the coin if I get to talk to the king.
I look and get my bag of holding, and I get the gray tabard. I have this. Does this work?
You are a member of the Grey Guard.
Yeah, hell we are.
Oh yeah.
My bad. Fabulous. And I make mine appear.
Very well. Uh,
Bye.
I'll do that right now. And he just takes off.
I think you need to go find Rosalind. You would. I think she might be at the Ebonhorn Manor.
I think I need to make sure you're here with Lolly at first.
So, the place is totally empty. Off to the side, on either direction of the throne, are two. Well, on the right, you know there is a room, and on the left is a hall. Remember, you stepped into that room, and he had a cake and showed you a number of books.
I'm gonna go walk over to there to see if he's chilling. Pop open the door, pop my head in.
I'm going to.
He is. He is sitting at a table, slouched over, asleep. Setting upright, cross-legged in his seat, slouched over asleep.
I yell Lolly very loudly.
He jerks forward and shoots a spell off in the distance. The books all cascade off the shelf and fall into the floor. He says, "What?"
Bad news. I have
to go get Rosalind right now. Xan'Tha is going to explain what just happened.
Get in here.
Get in
I
here.
run.
And
The guy's name again?
I'm going to
go find Rosalind.
What was the guy's?
He's still like rubbing his face. He begins to pour a glass of wine and he says, "Oh, goodness, you know, in some kingdoms you could be executed for this."
Yeah, in some kingdoms you don't have a word that reflects its.
Oh, play loves you.
I'm gonna need a little more than that. What's going on?
We just witnessed. What's his name again?
Malleus.
We just witnessed Malleus get resurrected.
Immediately his eyes widen. He appears now wide awake.
Okay. Who is the Iron King? Because apparently...
False King.
No, he said the Iron King. Who is the Iron King? Because apparently Valis
King of
is...
the Iron Men.
Because we wore
That's
iron
what
suits.
Sargati
Yeah,
were
the
calling.
Sargati were calling us him the King of the Iron Men.
Okay.
Because we wear armor.
That's true.
Stop.
He also called him the false king, but either way.
Right.
Yeah. This is troubling news. Troubling indeed. Huh.
Valis is dead.
Not throat.
Well, that's of no surprise. Malleus never was fond of Valis.
Said he needed
Go put
of
it
the
away.
son of the...
No, that doesn't follow. Surely it's more than that. Maybe because he followed another god? That's likely. So, tell me everything you can, in great detail. He opens a book, pulls out a quill, and gets ready to write, staring at you.
Alright. Speak Dark Elven.
Why, yes, I can, but
And
many...
I start divulging in Dark Elven that I was cursed, that we found these stones, and what I read on these stones, and all I could speak and understand was Dark Elven until I met the Sagari that kidnapped all of them, and then the thing happened, and I'm still in complete shock.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to jump over to Michelle. Michelle, you are searching for Rosalind. So, where would you like to begin? You know, she has some dozen places that she likes to visit from time to time.
I'm gonna go to the one that we were partying at the hardest. Is it the Gilded Unicorn?
Yeah, that's the name of the inn that she owns. And
Yeah,
it's not far. That would be the nearest.
I'm running straight to that one.
Okay. You burst through the front doors. At first, an elf looks up like he's about to scold you, then realizes it's you.
I rip the door off the hinges if I can.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you have the strength for that.
I'm in like
I'm like mid rage, just super like mom.
He
Like I
looks
ripped the
up
door.
in a rage
Ready
and
to
is
quit
off,
yelling.
ready to scold you, and then he realizes it's you, and at this point he is not allowed to scold you. So he doesn't know exactly what you want or what you mean to do.
Rosaline here.
She's
Where is
upstairs.
she?
She's
Upstairs.
upstairs.
Bye.
You really
I
should
start
go
running
down.
upstairs.
Okay. As you're heading upstairs, you hear him talking very loudly about damaging property and this and that. Now upstairs, there's like 8 different rooms. You don't know which one she's in.
Go to the first.
First door.
Knock,
Slam it
knock.
open.
Okay. You slam it open. You see a tiefling making love to an elf.
Nope.
Not this one.
This one. I leave the door open and
Pop
pop
into the
into
next
the
room.
next room.
You open the next room. A halfling startles up from his bed and begins shooting crossbow bolts all across his room.
Nope,
Not this
not
one.
this
Next.
one. Next room.
Third room. You see a man lying in bed. He does not wake, clearly drunk.
Nope.
Next room.
You bust it open,
I'm leaving the doors open
Along the way
along
as
the
well.
way as well.
and you catch Rosaline taking a deep drag from a pipe.
Gotta
We
go
gotta go to
to Lolly now.
Lolly now.
What? Hey, you're back. Good to see you.
Dead
Dead
boyfriend is
is
too.
too. We gotta go.
She turns pale, dead
Yes.
in the face,
Yes.
and immediately draws her sword, and she's like, "Let's go." And
Yes,
takes
let's
off.
go.
Let's go. And
They're
we are
Like
like hand in hand sprinting to Lolly.
haven't even
Haven't even
got to
gotten
the
to the point of explaining he killed my boyfriend.
Okay, back to Xan. At this point, you've explained most of what's happened, the entire circumstance with the stone circles, at least to the best of your belief. Exactly what happened with you forgetting your language and being in this city. And the entire time, he's keeping diligent notes, literally writing down everything you say word for word. Uh, he looks up for a moment and says, "So, he's back. Interesting.
I just explained that all to you.
No, I know." He starts tapping his quill on the paper. "I knew he would be, but I didn't know how."
Said he has a mission to kill him. And all of the stone worm on.
Yes, that was our last mission together. We were actually on our way there when he died. It makes sense that's the last thing he would remember. Surely he doesn't know that we've put him to sleep for a period of time. He'll be out for maybe a year.
He thinks it's going to do.
That's not as much a problem for us as it is for him. The question is, will that make him act irrationally? Malleus never was the rational type. Typically, when a problem was posed, he would solve it with fire and brimstone.
He kind of solved it. He kind of solved the whole brimstone and sucking the place dry. There's your lumber problem right there. He was the one who's. Yeah, you gotta pay more attention to your councilman.
Did she explain
Well,
that? in that
from
whole-
what I see, it was Sot.
Yep.
Yes, Sot is his own entity. I've never trusted him, but I kept him close. Trouble is, it's hard keeping tabs on everyone while running a kingdom.
Well,
This is
he
troubling news.
armored your.
So, the good news is, through your group's heroism, you managed to interrupt this ritual. I would say that'll leave Malleus weak and injured for some time. I don't expect another action from him for a while. The question is, as you told me here, he already has some undead. And that's what worries me.
What is in the portal back here?
A portal. He immediately begins looking over his notes, opening up a second book, one that is bound in black leather. He begins scrolling down. No, 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 no. Hex, fireball, invisibility, mirror, blink. Malleus can't create portals.
Not exactly.
No, it's more than that. I would say at this point, he is Durion. Yeah, it only makes sense. His soul was bound in the sword of Durion. Durion is its own entity. To remove Malleus's soul from the sword would mean to give Durion life. Where's Rosaline?
Fell
Our
after her.
research.
Through the doors.
Yeah, pretty
Set me
much.
for shit. I told you what I was doing.
Just boom, straight through the door.
Do I take this one off its hinges, or is it too big?
It's too big.
God damn.
It's an iron-bound door. He says, Rosaline, just in time. You have Calanon with you. She raises it without a question. And with no further prompt, she says, he's back. We need to move now. Forget the kingdom. We have to go. There's silence in the chamber.
I'm sitting behind her as like hype man.
Just complete and total silence as they're both stuck in thought.
I'm still disabled looking, by the way. So I'm like, we haven't like changed.
Disheveled?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you said
welcome.
disabled looking. I'm like,
Yeah, no, that's our warrior.
Speaking of which, I explained that the rogue guy, we don't know whether he's alive or dead. Valis, and I say my boyfriend. Valis, my boyfriend, passed away. He took the sword to the gut, and it took his soul.
Yeah, explain
took
that.
They took
all
all
of
of my weaponry, and our friend Sirris, our mercenary captain, is like welded into his armor and burned over his whole body. He's currently sitting in the big building
The
outside.
cathedral. He tried to stop resurrecting.
He
Hold
held
on.
on to that thing for a long time, and he was thrashing really hard. I don't know how tore up he really is.
I was barely able to.
I don't know if that would be considered bravery or stupidity. To be
Yes and
honest,
yes.
to be honest, any of you, all of you, facing down Malleus, I would give you 1 in 100 odds. He was, well, he was beyond check. I did as much as I could to guide him when he was younger, but when he took hold of Durion, something changed in him. Rosaline, what would you expect me to do? Leave my kingdom? Walk away and hunt him across the world? God knows where he is now. Not to say this is a small matter. It's not, but I don't know what to do here. I mean, the ritual was interrupted. That will buy us some time.
I mean, we
He'll
knocked
be
the
back.
cauldron over. I don't know what that really means.
Well, it is ashes and his soul is still.
I'm sure it slowed the process. He's going to be on the prowl for more souls in the meantime. And while he's collecting souls, he'll be building his army. Where
he's
he'll
just got a
go,
whole army of them.
Where he will go is hard to say. Our entire adventure, we were in Aelia. It would only make sense for him to be there, but likewise, he may go to Erelor. That's where he knew Relinquisher was, and Relinquisher is his biggest threat. He may go to Thill just to throw us off. It's hard to tell. If he can
What
open a
about
portal, then he could
what
be
about having Maybelline chase him? You're gonna have to have something to port from port to port to go find it.
Maybelline. Maybelline always had contempt for Malleus. Rosaline speaks up and says, "That's not an understatement. She wanted to kill him. On multiple occasions, she tried to kill him."
Well, that's the best person who you should go hunt him.
Is that
What we want here? I mean, I mean, Rosaline, I'm sorry, but I know there was some
bad blood?
bad blood between you two. But do we want him dead? So there's this
He's,
thing about the worm eating the world that he's
well,
planning on stopping.
he wasn't always a bad guy. It was around the time he got that sword that things started to go sour.
I mean,
I would say,
ignoring the sword, what's the greater evil here? A giant worm eating the world, or Super King Lich?
no, you're not wrong. I mean, the worm has no ill content. As soon as it wakes up, that's it. There's no reasoning with it. It's just over. At least Malleus is a person. Maybe we have bigger things to consider.
The last the
You people and your fucking stones. You touched that and you became fucking mentally inept.
yeah, but I was the only one who was able to predict that he was.
Who could understand you? Mr.
Chardur
Chardur
Crisp?
Crisp?
Yeah,
That
That
worked out
worked
well
out
for
well
him.
for him.
Pause. Sirris, you wake up on a cold stone floor in the middle of a place that you have no recollection of. You
Okay.
are badly burned from head to toe. Your body sears with pain.
Is
But
there
you're
anyone
awake.
around me?
Yes. You see the priest from before, Father Sotera, looking over you, murmuring a prayer with his eyes closed.
Father?
He opens his eyes and looks at you. You should rest. It's a miracle that you're even awake.
Where are my companions?
They're off telling the council exactly what happened. He kind of puts a hand on your chest to keep you down.
Did we save Valis?
I'm afraid not, my son. He passed. But he knew the risks. He knew going into this exactly what he would give up. Valis, from a young age, wanted nothing but to bring honor to his house name, and Lolliot gave him that opportunity. His lineage will continue.
I guess I'm in the church.
He looks up. You can see the scaffolding barely covering the night sky and a crimson red moon above. He says, "Yes, we're in the cathedral."
How long have I been out?
I don't know when you arrived, but maybe a half hour since I've seen you.
I kind of raise my head and look at the rest of my body, because, oh. Actually, you know what? Would I even feel this? It's burnt so bad?
At this point, you're like 90% adrenaline and testosterone. I mean, you can
are all
tell.
that is mad.
Yeah, you can tell your entire body is basically numb. You don't have much sensation, but when you do have any senses, it's just searing.
Holy shit.
Curled around your foot, you see a red dragon hatchling.
What the fuck?
He says, "Rest. I have people coming. We'll be taking you to the infirmary. At least it's fully constructed at this point. I've contacted some of my people who work for the clergy, and we'll do everything we can to get you moving."
You,
It's
you wouldn't happen to have anything to cure stupidity, would you?
I'm afraid not. A plague that curses many in this town, for sure. But it was brave what you did. Now, I need to speak these words to you, and please don't take them harshly, but I've requested a butcher.
What?
A butcher and a barber. We need to remove some flesh.
Okay. It's not like I can feel it anyway.
He reaches in a pouch on his side, and he pulls out a small vial full of a gray fluid. And he says, "Take this, my son. We'll wake you up when it's all over."
Alright, I'll drink it and pass back out.
All right, you're out of it. Back to the king's chambers. Rosaline is up. She's pacing back and forth pretty frantically, kind of just talking out loud.
Your remote
She
right there.
says, "Okay, so when we went to the temple, me and Malleus, we tried to bind ourselves to our swords. We went through a number of rituals, and we found out that one cannot work without the other. So if his soul is bound to the sword, all I have to do is find Malleus and get close enough to him to touch my sword to his, and it should destroy his phylactery, which will destroy him, and then we could end this entire crisis. But if I get close enough to Malleus, he has all these undead servants, and I'm going to want Lyle with me. Lyle's it ends with Maybelline, and Maybelline is going to be traveling the seas to try to find
Also,
him."
you also said that you could.
She couldn't leave the kingdom because she was trying to keep him from.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can ask for help, Rosaline.
She looks over at you, staring daggers. You've never seen her this angry at you before. And she says, "I have to take care of this."
Yeah,
You
you.
don't have to do it alone.
We're here for you.
Maybelline is going to be looking for Malleus now that he's out there.
I hope it's more than just her looking for him.
Well, she has a fleet. But if she
So
finds
she has help.
But if she finds him, she will go at it alone. She may take her fleet with her, but she won't tell us. She looks at Lawliet, and he kind of shrugs in agreement.
Is there a way to make you aware? I would assume you're such a high level guy with magic that you can do one of them teleporty thingies like he did.
I can keep tabs on her, but if I don't know where she's at, then it's all for naught.
I don't know if you're Rosalind or Lolly.
Lawliet.
Okay.
If I don't keep tabs on her everywhere she goes, then it's all for naught. And at this point, she has mages at her disposal. Now, the trouble is, as Rosaline said, chances are Maybelline's going to try to do this on her own.
Why not send the Grey Guard with her?
They're at odds.
They're at odds with each other, right? They're going to keep each other in check.
Yes, but after what you saw,
Tell them to suck it the fuck up for the greater good.
Maybelline doesn't care about the greater good.
But he does. Every check has its balance.
Yes, Lawliet would seek him out to destroy him. But Maybelline, she's her own creature. She won't allow him on board. Even if he had his own ships, they're nothing compared to hers. This is going to have to be coordinated, very well coordinated. I need the rest of the council here. You hear a bell tolling in the distance. The man that you sent off is now gathering the members of the council for a meeting. He says, "It seems like I'll have my opportunity. I would like the two of you to speak before the council and inform them of what has happened."
Shit.
That was my thought. I kind of want to check on Sirris and Dirt.
I'm not good at talking to people. I guess I am.
Zan's gonna leave you here to do all of the diplomacy.
Sweet.
I'm gonna go check on them. I pat your shoulder. I'll see you later.
So there was this
Yeah.
guy, and he was kind of an asshole.
Leave it on you to leave the guy here to explain. Goddamn, she just ran.
I've already. Like, I've already done it in Dark Elf. You're good.
Can I look at Lolly? Can you like help walk me through some of this? I would love to say I'm gonna remember everything, but there was a whole lot of, and I think back to Valis getting stabbed, and I go quiet.
I can tell what I've heard. Listen, I've known Valis for a long time. He was in his later years. He never expected to live this long. If you ever had a conversation with the man, you would understand that he was bitter about the fact that he was never able to die in battle. Don't take pity on him.
I'm not taking pity on him. I'm taking pity on how he died. No person deserves to have their soul ripped out the way.
I'm sure
Death is one thing, and I'm more of the welcoming of it, but that's not death.
I'm sure given the opportunity, he would have fought back as harshly as he could have. That may be his only regret. But we'll do what we can to bring justice to those lost. Before the council arrives, may I speak to you?
Aren't we already?
Rosaline, leave us. And she looks very flustered and kind of in a huff, walks out.
I mean, you didn't have to do the...
Do what?
You didn't have to kick her out. Her and I have been partying for a while. Basically, I've spent more time with her than those two.
You seem to be... Is it fair to say that you would like to take action against Malleus?
If I had the ability to stab up whatever the fuck he is and kill him, yeah. But at the same time, check him balance. I mean, we're looking at the end of the world here, and he's wanting to stop.
Sure, true. Everyone on every end of the spectrum is in agreement. The priests of Corduan, all the way to Relinquisher in his dark tower, they all agree that the worm must be stopped. But my question to you is, if that happens, would you be interested in taking out Malleus?
In a heartbeat, I'd rip his fucking throat out.
There is a man currently in the Red Sands, to the east of here, who wields a blade of great power. You've heard of the swords of Forbidden Glass.
No.
I'm opening my notes.
I'm sure I haven't mentioned it.
No, I'm writing it down.
said east of here?
Yes, in the Red Sands.
Blades of what?
I
Blades
put
of
it
glass.
in the notes. Yeah. Swords of Forbidden Glass. It was written long ago in the First Age that certain blades were crafted by using the blood of a demigod. These swords were each imbued with their own personality and magical properties. One of those,
Like hers.
yes. One of those is known as Kalanon, another Durion. However, in total, there are 9 weapons. Now, there are lesser swords, and there are greater weapons. Swords, maces, staves, one bow, all crafted using this god's blood.
All the
I know
same
of,
god?
yes. Durion embodied chaos. Chaos and evil incarnate. Whereas Kalanon is pure goodness. I know of yet another in the Red Sands.
You're
There is
fine.
another man, a barbarian, currently traveling west in the Red Sands, approaching the capital, who holds one of these swords. He is not yet attuned from my information. If you were to seek it out, it may just be the tool you need to uproot Malleus, and in turn, aid me in my conquest.
Oh, wait a minute. The
Last
last sword I
get-
watched get grabbed tried to.
What the
I
hell
don't know
was
what
it?
the hell it was doing to Sirris, but it about ripped his body up. And then
Kalanon, she
Kalanon
said turns every man
turned
into ash.
into ash.
Exactly. You must be precisely attuned to their energies. Kalanon, pure goodness. Durion, pure evil. But this blade resides in the middle. And I feel you may just be able to wield it.
I don't know what you mean by that, but okay. Can so she said that Kalanon can neutralize his sword. Would this one do the same?
No. Kalanon and Durion are polar opposites. But this other weapon, the Onyxian Warglaive, it's something entirely different. It was wielded by Jack Quarry, last seen in the Third Age of Man. Jack Quarry wielded the blade and used it to conquer all of Valia. Somehow, an upstart barbarian has found it. I don't know how he's kept it for so long, but he has
And
it.
lived?
Yes.
One, two,
There's much more to discuss on this topic, but the council will be arriving soon.
Why did you not want Rosalind to hear this?
She has other things to worry about, and were she to seek it out, she would find herself unable to wield such a weapon.
Don't touch it.
I
Back.
could not wield such a weapon. It seems fitting that someone with such fury should hold the blade of Jack Quarry. My question is, are you interested?
In killing him? I mean, once this thing with the worm thing is figured out, yes, I would love to kill him. By whatever means. If this is the means that you think we can kill him, then I'm gonna go with it.
Then we will speak again sometime after the council meeting. Please go fetch the others.
Uh, what? Like Rosalind right outside.
Yes.
I go and go get Rosalind.
You step outside, you don't just see her. You see her, Maybelline, Lyle, and a couple of other figures who you haven't met yet.
Oh,
You're
you're all. Oh,
on in, guys.
come on in, guys.
Okay, and we'll pause there. Zan, you were going to check on Sirris, correct? Or were you
Yep,
going to
I'm-
look at Dirt first? 'Cause he's
Dirt.
closer.
Well, Dirt. It's middle of the night, right? So he's probably sleeping.
Yeah, he's sleeping.
So I'm gonna check on Sirris.
Okay. You go to the cathedral, enter the front gates, and you find a blood stain on the floor, but no one is there.
I try putting finding another acolyte.
Finding another what? You kind
An
of
an acolyte.
there is no one. You are alone in the cathedral in the middle of the night with a blood moon above you.
I start following the bloodstains.
Okay, you see little drips and drops. Your hunter instincts kick in and you're able to follow them. Far down to the left, down a long corridor, into a room that is unmarked. Upon entering, you see it appears to be an infirmary. This wing of the cathedral is actually constructed already, roofs above and everything. Within, there are a number of beds lining both sides, and at one bed, you see a man holding the arm of Sirris, cutting pieces away.
I very much cringe at this, and I kind of slowly walk towards, try not to disturb him.
Father Satera looks at you and, like, his eyes widen. He stands up and walks over with his hands up and he says, "This is delicate work. They're attempting to remove his armor now. It seems in such extreme heat, it tried to fuse to his skin. They're doing what they can to remove it. Luckily, most of it's topical. There may be some nerve damage for a time. How are you holding up?"
It's not the first time I've seen. Not the first. But I could be doing something better. I've never seen a soul ripped out of a person. And I look over at his bed. Do I see the little dragon?
Do you see what?
The little dragon.
It is on the bed next to him, screaming. Like they won't allow it near him, and it's very upset.
Is it alright if I sit next to that dragon until I check on it?
That's very fine. Though I wouldn't bother him. He's been having a hard time, and he's resting. At any rate, you may want to look away, my lady. It's quite a gruesome act.
He does milady you.
Go ahead.
I try to get close to the baby dragon. See if it'll come down by me.
You notice as you go to sit that much of his skin is just muscle. He's missing a lot of tissue. His face appears pretty badly burned, though the healing they've done has managed to stop it from blistering any further. The dragon does seem excited to see you. It kind of chirps in your direction and sits next to your leg.
I look at it and I pet it and it's like, hey guy, let's not disturb these guys, okay? Let's go. You need to meet somebody. I think he'll quite enjoy meeting you. His name's Dirt, and he's very precious. Okay.
It screeches in your general direction, but you don't know.
I kind of scoop it up, and I'm like, I will sit in front of the orphanage.
Give me an animal handling check.
Ooh.
It's not often I get to use animal handling.
I actually proficient with this.
There you go.
Not 20. 23.
For real? Like, for real.
For real.
Okay. Yeah, it's on board. It's all for it. It's with
I
me.
am
I am
super
super judgy with
So-
dice, so
Yeah, it scales your armaments and climbs up on your shoulder and perches there.
All right.
You can
If
see as you stand up, it's looking over towards Sirris, kind of longingly, and it screeches in his direction as you take off.
I know.
back.
I miss I miss him too. We'll see him soon. Okay, I promise.
left.
Okay, and so you're heading off towards the cathedral to find Dirt.
So-
You make it there in little time. I mean, it's just out the door and around the corner. So, yeah, you're there. Now it is nighttime. All the lights are out and it's pitch black inside.
I was gonna hang out in front of the door so I can play with the dragon.
Okay. Okay. Just kind of bonding with it.
Yeah. It needs attention. It's probably hungry, so I'm probably gonna feed it. You know.
What are you going to try to feed it?
I'll be right back. Actually, I'm talking about food now. I'm hungry.
I mean, I've got my
Tell me
rations.
when I need to be back.
You do?
I do.
I'm just going to like cut off a piece of ham and stick it in its face on a fork?
No, I'm gonna cut a piece of ham and like hand feed him.
He tries to chew it up, but he's having some trouble. Like he laps it up in the air and then it kind of just falls in the dirt.
Hey,
If I knew how to talk to you, I'd be able to understand what you're.
I mean, he seemed interested in it. He just can't chew it.
Daddy's gonna
So I
have
start
ice
cutting
cream.
it up smaller
Daddy,
and
gonna have ice cream.
open palm feed him.
Okay. Once it's diced very finely and kind of smashed up, he's able to eat it. Yeah. And he's just kind of sitting there with you in the dark. His first day being alive, and
I know it sucks, but we can't. I know it sucks. We can't be in there. We need to give him
You
some
are not
space.
getting any of this. Watch your movie. Movie's over here going to bed.
at this point, I really need
I
to.
don't care what you call yourself. You're going to bed when this movie is over.
I'm going to use the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back.
You got 3 minutes. Because you're gonna be right back as soon as he's back from the bathroom. Okay.
I told you to just tell me.
Excuse me.
I just told you as soon as.
You just missed that.
I'm so sorry.
It was my turn.
You just said it was.
And you said that
He was taking a break instead. I'm like, just fucking tell me and I'll run around. I was in the kitchen, which is like
fucking far away.
away.
Here, let me.
I have
I
farted.
farted and affected the kitchen.
Hello. Let me
Oh,
just.
my passive wisdom is perception is now a 13.
Here, let me just take your dragon from you for a nat 20.
I'm gonna
I'm
kick
gonna
you in.
kick you in the dick while you're down and
They're ripping
they're
your
ripping your
off like
flesh
a-
off like it's a Saw movie.
Bruce.
Oh no!
Fine, don't worry,
Don't worry,
I'll
I'll feed your dragon parts of you.
You know, dragons do eat you when you're dead.
And it's nice and crispy.
I mean, yeah, it's already cooked.
Cooked on the bone, you can't beat that.
Yeah, we just need to add some sauce.
Like good marrows.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I went back as soon as you apparently went to go potty.
Okay. So, yeah, back in the council chambers. The entire council is now gathered around this large table. Lawliet stands before them. He says, I'm aware of the hour. I know it's quite late. However,
Back on.
Is back. Through the use of some dark magics and many souls of the Sargati to the east, he's returned. It seems it was Sot's doing that we've encountered so much trouble moving eastward. Of course, any of you who've been with me for a while would know that but regardless, he's back. I've gathered you all here, and he looks around the table from one side to the next. Maybelline, Lyle, Rosaline, Michelle, and then the others who you've not yet met. He says, I've gathered you all here to determine the next steps to take. Do we take action? Do we focus our forces on the worm? What do we do? Immediately, Lyle stands in his chair and says, he's an unholy abomination now, just like I said he would be. We need to find him and kill him right away. He looks at you, Michelle, and says, you witnessed this. Aren't you on board?
His goal is to kill the worm, whose goal is to kill the world.
All of our goal is to kill the worm. Relinquisher wants to kill the worm.
But at the same time, you haven't succeeded in anything but putting it to sleep. If this guy's as all powerful as you guys say, which is the lesser of two evils?
I was not a part of the party who chose to put the worm back to sleep. I wanted to fight it. No matter how many zombies he sends after the worm, it's the size of the planet. It doesn't matter. He is a threat. Maybelline perks up and leans back in her chair and says, well, while he might be a threat, I'd say he's of little consequence to us. The first time I met Malleus, I scorched his face and knocked him out. I'm not too worried about it. I say we focus on the worm.
I look a little taken aback.
You see one of the figures that are unknown to you. He's a large man who's balding on top of his head and has a huge bushy beard. He says, as far as I'm concerned, and he kind of glances back and forth, all that matters is this town right now. I don't care what the lot of you do, I'm staying right here and taking care of business. Lawliet then stands up, placing both hands on the table, and says, Michelle, why don't you tell them what you experienced there? Maybe that will give all of them a better grasp on exactly what has happened.
Are you going to fast forward or do you want me to actually walk? Because this won't be pretty for any of us.
Why don't you give me Michelle's take on the events? I would love to hear it.
Like, do you guys want to know from the beginning, or like
I'm gonna hand this?
Maybe we start at the stone circle.
Okay.
So
So there was
dumb
the
girl
dumb
that went and
girl
touched
that went
the
and touched the stone.
so then
So then all of a sudden she went
This, then-
unconscious. Then the the burnt to a crisp Cheeto that ran off. He's in the cathedral now. Sirris, he's the captain of our mercenary company. He
to go
went in there to go figure out some things and
apparently
apparently
went
went deaf. So I went in there to go save him. The circle threw me out. Apparently it doesn't want me getting in there to manhandle him. And he walked out, said he figured out something, then started walking around like with his hands held out, and then all of a sudden she woke up.
But I
couldn't understand a fucking thing she said. They
Started
started having some weird conversation where apparently she was
Elf a
saying
lot.
elf a lot. I look at Lolly and I'm like, she was speaking the thing. What's the?
Yes, from what I understand, this man Sirris may have signaled us moving into the age of the moon, and Xan'Tha was afflicted with only being able to speak in the Dark Elven tongue.
Whatever it was crazy. So then we ran into this giant. We ran into one before. It was this like demon gorilla thing. They told me I couldn't beat up, so I went to go beat it up, and then they told me I could, and we decided not to. We ran into another one of those, which. Why is there demon gorillas in you guys' woods, like right outside your city? Like, you guys need to figure some shit out.
But we killed that one. And after we killed that one, I was already pissed off
because they told me I couldn't kill this one, and then we killed it. So we went to
Go
go
fight.
fight. Like,
I walked around and
stumbled upon some ogres
Talking
talking
about
about some stew and shit. So we went and killed them like the bitches they were.
one got away, so
we'll probably have to go find that fucker eventually.
Everyone is just awestruck at this story, by the way.
I'm surprised you didn't tell him about that. You got air shot in the butt.
I am not admitting to being shot in the ass in front of a council. It's not happening. You sit down.
you
Go help your orphan.
As he bleeds through his pants.
So then the
rogue bitch ran
off in the middle of fighting all those ogres, and he found this city, of all the fucking cat people. So then the Cheeto
figured out
that thought it would be good to split the party and send the little bitch Rogue and Xan'Tha into the city to go kill their leader. We didn't know who their leader was until, later. So then we went to go be all diplomatic, and Sirris had me drop all of our. He had me drop all my damn weapons. Like, what kind of a retard wants this? And I looked down at all my muscles to drop his weapons and get chained and dragged into a fucking city. Sorry, I'm mad. They took all my shit. And
so we went into the city
handcuffed.
I'm already pissed off.
We get in there and he's talking with this cat
dude
over some shit. I don't know what the fuck he's saying. Something about we're gonna go talk to their leader. And
next thing I know, they start wrapping him up like a
fucking burrito in chains. And they do the same thing. He's telling me to stay calm.
Under this dude's a fucking Cheeto at this point. And they do the same to Valis.
Valis? Valis.
Yes.
They do the same to my boyfriend Valis, and he's over there getting wrapped up and getting off like I am. Neither of us
understand what's going on.
And then all of a sudden,
this dude, whatever his. I'm getting into my fucking.
What dude? Sot?
Sot. I've seen him before, so I know his name.
That little bitch of the
Alias had that demon sword and said something about sacrificing to
bring back Malleus.
Malleus.
Next thing
Next
I
thing
know,
I know, he's running at me and
boy
my
over
boy
here.
over here.
He goes to stab him, so like I give him a swift kick straight to the
chest.
drops back, still stabs him.
The dickhead.
And
And
I watch him.
It was weird. There was this like white blue that drew out of his body and into the blade. I've never heard anything like that before. It was like watching his soul just get ripped out of his body. And I watched Valis just crumble. And then he walked over to the cauldron and started chanting. And we started watching him just disintegrate while he was chanting and stepping into a boiling cauldron on top of fire. Hello, great, goddamn serenity. Sorry.
I watched him just burn himself to a crisp in the cauldron, so Sirris and I look at each other like we gotta stop this
Crazy
shit. Dude over there with a
sword, and he's stabbing people, saying he's gonna resurrect him. So we both bull run him
knock the
and
cauldron
knock
over.
the cauldron over. I get there before Sirris, but he goes and stands in the fire. Fucking dumbass.
Knock the cauldron over,
and I thought we stopped it, but then
his body was
gone. The sword started like levitating with this weird goo, and I get all descriptive with the body and the weird bits and the fact that it spewed out all over and it still stood up. So
and
then
Sirris
grabbed the blade. And he started like writhing in pain, but at the same time he was dragging it closer and closer to the pyre. And I saw his, it looked like he broke his back 4 or 5 times, and then he stood in the fire, burning. And then all of a sudden he got knocked back, and there's this weird lich dude, skull mask, star-sunken eyes, talking about, saving the world from the worm. But at the same time, he killed all of the cat people around us, like all of them. Like, and we were in a big city. Like, is it comparable to the city we're in, or a district?
Not quite, but again, there was a population of almost 300. So,
I mean, it was a big ass city of cat people, and he killed everyone. And I mean, he stood up, then all of a sudden he did this go back and tell them that I'm back kind of thing. And next thing I know, we were outside and he'd fucking welded into his armor. And Valis was dead. Here we are. I started freaking out, running around looking for people because this is some shit.
okay. So there's a brief pause. Just a moment while everyone absorbs the story that you've woven. And then the balding man with the large beard leans forward and points at you and says, "This man's mad. He's insane. Listen to him."
I mean, that's possible, but that's not
the point.
Rosaline draws her sword and points it at him and says, "Shut your mouth, fat little man, and listen. Malleus is back. We have to do something now."
That's right.
Maybelline says, "If what you say is true, if she will vouch for you, sure, I believe you, but I don't see this as a problem. We've been around Malleus for a long time, the 3 of us. And from what I understand, he's more of the crafty kind of person. He'll probably lay low for the next year. And in that time, the worm will wake, and we'll need to take care of that. I'd say that's the more pressing matter."
Was I there when Lolliot was talking about it being Duran and not Matt? Or was that Sarah?
That was Zan who heard that story.
Okay.
Yeah. At any rate, he may be raising some undead army. I don't put that past him at all. Do I think he's a threat? Yes. Would I like to fight him? Also, yes. However, the worm is the more pressing. And that's all that's important right
Ask
now.
Daddy.
We have to take care of the worm. Say he raises some huge undead army of 30,000 undead whatever. He sends them all after the worm. We'll find out then if he's actually a threat. Until then, I don't really have any worries. That's our only concern.
You want to be proactive or reactive to this problem?
I deal with problems as they occur to me. Until then, I'm not as concerned. Plus, and she looks over at Lolliot. We should be worried about the odd kind. He kind of does this motion and says, that's another discussion for another time. We'll deal with that later. Who among you votes that we should take action against Malleus? And you, sir, for sharing your story, I will take your vote in account for the common people. Who thinks we should take care of Malleus?
In time or first?
First. Who thinks it should be a priority? Say aye. Immediately, Lyle stands up, kicking his chair back, and says, aye. You see another member, one of the nondescript people, who you haven't got to meet yet. He also gives an eye.
Me too.
What's that?
I said NPC 2.
NPC 2, yes. Well, I have a character sheet for him, but you haven't met him yet, so doesn't matter. All opposed? Maybelline
What's Rosalind
raises her hand. Rosaline votes aye as well.
I'm opposed.
Maybelline votes opposed. You vote opposed. The leader of trade votes opposed. And so does the fourth candidate. He says, therefore, we'll table this for now. I'm sure he's injured. We should have some time to think things through. In the meantime, we will repair our city, create some diplomatic treaties with neighboring countries,
Daddy's got their
and then decide what to do. I thank you all for this meeting. We'll be in touch shortly. Go get some rest. And he sends them off. Everyone begins to filter out of the room.
I grabbed Rosalind by the arm.
Yeah, she's already on her way out, and she is in tears. She is so angry.
Yeah, okay, so there's no stopping.
Yeah, she is just running out of there.
I guess I'll have to go talk to her later. Or do I have the opportunity to chase after her?
I mean, you could chase after her.
Is it clearly expected that I stay back?
Yeah, she's avoiding you on purpose.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah. She's upset. So, I think at this point we should fast forward to the next day. Right?
I'm probably sleeping with the dragon, huh?
Did what's his name want to tell me more later?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he is going to divulge more information, but I will send that to you personally.
Okay.
Okay. So, the next morning, we'll start with Sirris. Sirris, you awaken in a bed in what you assume is an infirmary. You've seen them plenty of times before. There are a number of people standing at the edge of your bed talking. Looking down, you can see that both arms are bandaged from one end to the next. At this point, you can feel pain. Pain isn't really the word for it, though. Agony seems more fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're awake.
I try and get out of bed.
You try to get out of bed.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I want you to give me a constitution roll at disadvantage with a -4.
Wow. Wow.
Sounds like it hurt.
Did you break your back?
He had all his skin ripped off.
I know.
Okay, so I rolled 18 and a 13, so 14. No, I'm sorry. 15.
Advantage.
You are able to lift yourself forward with a loud grunt. People are looking over at you and like rushing to you to try to stop you as you pivot in your bed over to the side. As your legs come untucked from the blankets, you can see that they are also packed with gauze. Father Cetera says, "What are you doing?"
I've got business.
You have trouble getting that out as your lips are also badly burned. He says, "You cannot move. You must rest at least a day or two. We're doing everything we can to heal you, but you cannot be active right now."
I need to check on my friends.
Your friends are fine. Michel had a perfectly nice stay at the keep. He's been sleeping in feather beds and speaking to nobles. I know he's fine. Xan is over at the orphanage right now with that small dragon that was wrapped around your foot. She's checking in on the orphans. Everyone's okay. We've already taken the precautions to remove Valus's body and prepare him for a military funeral this evening.
What?
What about the other elf?
He has not returned.
There's a small palm-sized stone that should have been on my person.
Yes, we found some of your belongings, but many were badly charred. It's hard to make one out from the next, to be honest with you. Over beside you, there's a bedside table with various things that belong to you and a new bag holding that which survived. So on the bedside table,
You
you'll
get to
see
this
what
bag,
you
but I don't
assume
get any
is that
fucking
stone.
weapons.
It's completely black in color.
I'm try and grab the stone.
Okay. As you do so, basically your entire body is a scab right now. So you can feel your wounds opening as you move.
Oh.
You take the stone in hand.
I'm going to Thale.
I'm in deep cover, trying to make my way back.
Okay, you're safe.
God damn it.
All right, bye. I just dropped the stone.
And just drop it on the wood floor with a clamor. People are now gazing at you, amazed that you're even moving. Someone who you don't recognize is trying to force you back into the bed. It's like pushing on your chest, trying to lie you down.
Oh, I bet that hurt.
Yeah, I bet that really hurts, actually.
Yes.
I'll lay down. Oh fuck. I'll just roll over. Or actually, I won't even roll over. I'm just gonna lay my head to try and go back to sleep. There's really not a whole lot I can do.
As you're dozing off, you hear someone say, "Bring me the extract. We need to put him to sleep now." And then you doze off. Zan! You awaken. At sunrise, it seems like Valis waking you up the last week is rubbed off. But there's no one here to wake you now. It's just you sitting in the dirt with a dragon on your leg.
Now I miss those.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's fucking sad. It's like you went out of your way to make that sadder than what it actually was.
I mean, really, though, he's been waking you up at 5 in the morning every single day for the last week. You've got used to it.
I get up and I get the dragon back on my shoulder and try to make myself a little bit more presentable, without the streaks of makeup and tears and the hair is crazy, and dust off my armor and knock on the door.
A child opens the door. He looks at you, looks at the dragon, his eyes get real big, and he slams the door closed.
I put my arm out for the dragon to get on the arm so it's hiding behind the other door, and I knock again.
You can hear kids talking. You can't really make out exactly what they're saying, but what you can hear is no, no, no. And the door does not open.
Hey, it's Zan. I knock louder.
The door opens. A number of small children, now awoken by your knocking, have answered the door. There's a bunch of kids gathered around the front, and they're all just kind of staring at you.
Hey, where's all of the adults? They're not here yet? Are you guys, oh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like 5:30, 6 in the morning.
How about you guys go back to sleep? I'll come back.
Rushing to the front of the group, you see Dirt.
Hey, kid!
You're back!
He
seems really excited. He's like jumping up and down.
I told you I'd be back.
He says, "Oh my gosh, it's been crazy. Everybody likes me now. It's crazy."
Oh? You want to come out here and you want to see what Sirris has or got while we were away?
He comes out and he closes the door.
And I show him the dragon.
He falls down. He is like so surprised he falls down, and he's kind of scared. Like he's trying to open the door again, and he's flustered and like really scared.
I give him some more space, and I I kind of play around, and I give the dragon food, to show him that he's friendly.
He looks up at you with like a really inquisitive look, both eyebrows raised and his eyes huge. He says, "What is that?"
It's a red dragon.
That's a dragon?
Yeah. No. It's not gonna eat you. It doesn't have a name yet, but we gotta wait till Sirris gets better to name it.
He's kind of like walking circles around you. Like you can tell he wants to get close to it, but he's scared and he keeps like jumping back. Um, he's kind of lost for words. He's mumbling to himself, but he can't really figure out what to say here.
I'm really trying to keep up like with this happy, nothing's wrong. I'm back.
Sit on the
I keep showing him
The
tricks.
dragon screeches at him. It is not happy with his erratic movements.
Hey.
He stumbles backward quickly and kind of like, ah! Like, cries a little bit.
Alright, so this dragon probably was just born, so you probably like slow down, take a bit, breathe. Here's some food. I shove some food into his hand. Open palm.
Okay, he takes it, but he's like really scared.
Slowly. Open palm.
As he holds the food out in his hand, he's still backing away.
shoulder bites in the face.
I mean, it's a little kid. He's like 8 years old. He's freaking out.
I don't remember what it's like to be 8 years old. I'm 206. I don't remember what it's like to be two.
See a dragon, kid? No? Here you go. You can see it anyway.
Feed it with your hand. I just screamed at you, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, how about you go back to bed? I'll go check up on Sirris, okay? I'll tell him that you said hi, okay?
That's the big one, right?
Yep, the one in the big, huge plate armor that you guys love to crawl around.
Okay, I'm gonna go tell people now.
Okay. I'm sorry.
He just opens the door and kind of like shyly waves at you and closes it.
Maybe I'm not great with kids. Okay, let's go check on your daddy. Let's go.
Alright. You begin to head back towards the cathedral.
Get down.
Michelle, you have been given an incredible night's stay within the keep itself. You slept on feather mattresses with griffin down pillows. You slept like never before. Maybe
That's amazing and all, but like my worry is, did Rosalind have enough time? She got cooled her shit yet?
you're not sure. She ran off in a huff, kind of refusing to speak to you.
I'd give her a week, then you give her flowers.
That's, I mean, shoot. Peanut gallery.
My bromance.
Not really a bromance if it's with a woman, is
That's
it?
what
That's what I'm saying. It's a
Romance
romance.
is
It's not
romantic.
romantic.
At any rate, yeah, she ran off in a huff. She refused to speak to you, and she seems pretty upset.
Is Lolliet available?
Yes, he is.
I knock on his door.
You knock on his door.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not just barging in this time.
He opens, kind of rubbing his whole face with the palm of his hand.
I'm
We're
super
like
like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and like eyes wide, clearly a morning person?
He looks at you with his hand perched over his face through the crack in his fingers and says, "What?"
You've spent a lot of time with Rosalind, right?
Yeah, I mean, many years.
All right, so she's like super pissed at me for what I said last night at the vote. I'm gonna assume because she clearly wanted to kill Malleus, and I support that. But you know where I'm sitting. Um, when do you think is a good time? Because I kind of want to go talk to her and like explain myself a little bit to her. But like she was super pissed, so I don't know if she's just gonna, turn me to ash kind of thing when I step through.
Oh, I'm sure she's not in town anymore.
Where would she have gone?
I don't know, off to kill something or another.
Would love to go kill something with her, but at this point I would have to do it with my bare hands, which I'm not necessarily against. But
I don't want to make sure.
I kind of want to make sure she's okay, which clearly she's not. So maybe I can help make her okay.
I'm sure Lyle was happy about your vote. He'll probably give you some weapons free of charge. He's always awake at dawn. But where she's at, it's hard to say. Like I said, I guarantee she's out of the city by now. The only reason she stuck around was to take care of Malleus if it ever occurred.
Don't you have a way of finding her?
Well, she has a communication stone, but it's been nearly a year since she's used it.
Does it work the other way?
Sure, yeah, I've got a couple that I've attuned to that channel. He hands you one. The small pink stone. Uh, Maybe the size of a 50-cent piece. He says, "There you go. Good luck. I'm gonna go back to sleep."
How does this work? Do I just like talk to her?
Yeah, you'll get it. And he closes his door.
I am so confused. So I like start talking to the coin.
It's a stone.
Or I mean, you said it was like a coin in size. So I'm holding the stone. Rosalind, are you there? It's Misha. I know you're super pissed at me, but can we talk for a second? I tried to give you a night.
You hear very briefly through panicked breath, "I'm busy. Talk to you later."
If you're killing something,
That's it. No response.
God damn it. All right, so I'm gonna go check up on Sirris, but then I'm gonna go start looking. You're muted.
Okay. Xan, you reach the cathedral first. You enter and walk over towards the infirmary, which you remember how to get there. Within, you see, in the same bed that was Sirris, a figure entirely cloaked in gauze and bandage.
Is that him?
Father Cetera is still there. He says, "Yes, he's resting now."
Aren't you gonna soak him in some like herbal water or something?
Everything that we could do is done. Many of his wounds need to be healed by his own body at this point. We've done all that we can. There will be some long-term damage.
What's wrong with him?
Well, the best that I can predict, and the barber, he will definitely have some nerve damage. It may take him some time before he can articulate his hands properly. But I should say sometime in the next week, given his immense constitution, he should be mobile. But even in that time, he will need to remain bandaged. We'll continue healing him as best we can, but much of this comes down to him. If he continues to fight us, then it may take longer.
You think?
Maybe not the same. It's hard to say. It's up to God now. That's all I have.
I'll wait. Maybe I should go find.
At this point, Michel is approaching the cathedral. You enter through two large, ornately engraved wooden doors into a hall that is basically empty. You see pews lined up on either side, and the sun beaming down diagonally from above. There's no one here. It's silent.
Alright, this place is fucking creepy.
Out from a doorway emerges Xan.
Hey,
Hey, I was just gonna go check on you.
I'm right here. Where is he?
He's back there, but I've got to warn you, he's in bad shape.
No
Yeah,
shit, he was welded into his armor.
He might not be able to fight again,
Standing in fire.
understandably, but in bandages from head.
Maybe he should have had a thicker hide.
Are hard. If you want to come see him, how are you doing?
I'm conflicted. It's a big word for me.
Rough night.
Not in the good ways.
Oh boy, who'd you piss off this time?
Actually,
I think this is probably what this first night I've been alone the whole time. I think maybe second.
Oh,
Zach?
Yeah, this is likely the first night since you've been in town that you had to sleep alone.
Yeah, it
Rough
was a rough night. Like Rosalind's all pissed off. They had the council meeting and
let me guess, they don't believe you.
well, there was that one dickhead until Rosalind flipped him off. Like, she basically did threaten to kill him. To believe me, but you know, they had a vote of whether or not to chase down Malleus or
I saw it was voting to
go after the worm or Malleus, but I guess I was confused. It happens. So, like, I voted to go after the worm, which was apparently we're just gonna sit on our ass here instead. So she's a little pissed off at me because she wanted to kill Malleus.
I think we should keep on hard tabs on Malleus.
Yeah, but I want him to kill the fucking worm, and then we can kill him when he's.
Yeah, but we should still keep hard tabs on him, not sit on our asses.
I think we should kill him, like, as soon as we get the chance, once he kills the worm, which means we need to be right on his.
I don't care who we kill, the worm or him first.
He killed Phallus.
True, we still need to grab his body and bring it.
I would assume
somebody grabbed his body, because I totally did not think to grab his. That's super fucked up.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, well, you got to take care of the ones that are alive, and you did not look like you could carry somebody who's dead and.
You want to come see him?
Why else would I be here?
I step out of his way.
Cathedral with gods and shit.
I step out of his way and just usher him in.
Okay. So, you enter the room. Sirris, you wake up. You see Xan and Michelle, as well as Father Satera and the barber who did a number on you, all standing before you.
With the red dragon.
Did the barber flame, or was that
the butcher?
A little of both. And of course, Michelle's just like, wow, you're fucked up, man.
Dude, you're all bandaged up, and
I'm like poking him in the chest.
I slap Michelle's chest.
You're wearing your armor. You're wearing your armor. I thought I protected you.
So we have a slight problem. Actually, it's a pretty big problem.
I don't know how many problems I can fix.
You're gonna do a lot of fixing while
you're laying in a fucking bed. So, do you want me to say it in front of everybody in this infirmary, or do we want to send some motherfuckers away for me to talk? And I like glare at the father and the butcher.
Could we have some space?
And I like shoo my hand a little.
Whoa, deja vu right there. I don't know why, but
you're welcome.
Continue.
Are they shooing?
If you are shooing them away, then they will leave.
I am shooing them away.
Okay.
Like picture a super flamboyant hand of shoo. I don't know what the fuck the chicken wing is doing over there, but
they give you space.
So I explain everything that happened while he was gone. Or do I have to put that in Michelle's speak too,
fine.
which won't be pretty? Because at that point, that's like 8 people down of the rumor mill kind of.
Yeah, it's fine. You can we'll paraphrase.
Quick time, Sirris. I
explain all the shit about Rosalind's. Specifically why Rosalind is mad at me right now. Like, everything else is kind of minuscule and...
Okay, has anyone checked on our hall?
I haven't gotten there yet. I checked on Dirt. He seems to be doing great. He's apparently the best kid in there.
Are you wondering if it's extra crispy like you?
You also have a dragon, by the way. You have to name him.
What the fuck is that?
He was bothering the butcher and the other people, so I kind of took him off your hand.
Give it here.
I pet him and I nuzzle him and then I hand him over to Sirris.
Sirris,
you want
dragon that breathes like fire and
shit on top of the human torch.
He asked for this. He asked.
He seems immediately drawn to you.
Hey.
It kind of chirps more fire and like nestles under your chin. It hurts you, but it's there.
It's like an unwanted cat.
It's good to see you too, buddy. Finally decided to wake up. Just had to take some very traumatic experiences to wake you up. That's fine.
At this point, you hear footsteps coming from the entrance. You all turn to see Thale standing there, walking towards you. He says, "Oh my, you've been a hard
Let me
couple
know
of
when he's
people to
within
track
arm's reach.
down." What's that?
Let me know when he's within arm's reach.
He is.
I'm decking him.
Okay, give me a roll.
9 plus 5. 7.
So check this out. I changed dice, and he got a 19 plus 4. Or actually, plus 5. So he dodges.
I'm swinging again.
Give me another swing, man.
I'm going to swing at him too.
Give me swings.
Girl, I'm gonna keep you out of the way.
You out of the
Actually, at this point, I'll let you guys go for his armor class since you're actively attacking him.
20. Not now.
4.
You land a hit. Roll me a, what is it, a D4 for damage?
For me, it's a D4 plus strength.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't have thrown her in the air, right? And let me look at it.
8.
Your fist sinks into his face with great force and blood
Side
spatters.
of his
face. Cheek.
Okay. Still, blood spatters across the clean linens on the opposite side of the room as he almost falls down.
Where the
Heavy-handed
fuck
blow.
were you, motherfucker? While that dude was stabbing fucking phallus dude, and Sirris was burning, and Xan'Tha was whatever the fuck she was trying to peek off over next to that one dude.
Hold on, slow down. I told him
Incoherent,
like screaming at him and
I used cure wounds on him.
He looks up with contempt in his eyes and he says, "I was doing my fucking job," and he throws blood over to the side of the room. He says, "I was watching the group of you die. That wasn't easy for me."
Watching us fucking die instead of stepping
in, motherfucker.
Exactly.
By the way, I heal him for an 8.
He says, "Lawliet needed to know what happened there. I didn't think any of you could have survived. It's a miracle that you're here. Look at what happened to you because of what you did."
I took another swing.
Stop.
Fuck.
He just looks at you.
I'm gonna
10.
I'm gonna try and get up out of bed again. I gotta stop these dumbasses.
You put him down on the bed. I point at Michelle to Sirris.
I'm gonna guess that 10. I just completely missed.
Yeah. But Sirris is like injuring himself trying to sit up. And at this point,
I rolled
a 2. You can interpret that how you want.
no. At this point, Thale isn't even concerned with you. He's just trying to calm Sirris down so he doesn't hurt himself anymore. He says, "I'm sorry, but I didn't think that any of you would make it back.
Alice didn't make.
I know that. After I saw what I saw, I began running, and I didn't stop until I made it back here."
We didn't even grab our fucking weapons.
Really? About your weapons? Next time you say something about your weapons, I'm gonna go hide your neck set. Just shut up.
It's like
the first time you've heard me mention it.
Call it cowardice, if you will.
No, we will, because that's not the first time you ran away from us.
Can you blame me?
No, I could totally.
Yes.
Someone coming back from the dead. 250 men falling dead instantly and resurrecting under his control. I don't care what you think of me. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and we're not from here. You are, and you know this history more than we do.
History has nothing to do with it. No one has ever done something like that.
He just did.
Exactly.
And you could have stood against him.
Of what the three of you decide to do. From this point on, I'm looking for Malleus. I just came to let you know.
Well, the next time you run, at least it won't be from us.
You're
looking
looking for Malleus to stop him before, or are you gonna stop the worm from eating the?
I'm looking for Malleus to tell Lolliot. That is my duty. My duty is to this kingdom. And if the three of you died, I would have survived to tell Lolliot what happened. That's what's important. There are powers greater than us in this world.
Right, there were. So how come you didn't succumb and become one of the dead cat people?
I've thought about that a lot.
Stayed in the barrel where I told you to stay.
I think so. Maybe I was too far away. Maybe I
an entire city.
Too far away isn't a thing.
Well, they were all gathered nearby. But regardless, I stayed put. I saw what I saw, and I fled. That's all I can tell you. You should take care of your damaged companion. I just thought I'd let the group of you know out of courtesy that I'll be leaving for now.
Good.
Goodbye. And he turns and walks out the door.
I flip him the bird.
He
Well,
stops with his back still facing you and looks over towards Sirris.
Don't die.
He gives a half-hearted smirk. He says, I'll try my best. That's one thing I'm good at. And then he leaves.
Bitch.
well, if you want the thing checked, I'm gonna go check it, and I walk out in a huff too.
What the fucking thing? What the fuck is she talking about?
I need you two to do me a favor.
She's already stormed off.
I need you to do me a favor.
What does the mummy need?
I need you to find somebody to help expedite this process.
Of healing you?
Yes.
Who do you suggest? You
You
don't
have a
fucking
fucking cathedral of people.
I don't know.
Best man I'd have to put that on that fucking job who would tell you to suck it the fuck up, Buttercup, is dead.
See if the wizard in the magic shop would have anything.
The fuck is that wizard gonna do to cure you?
Not him. He sells items.
And we're fucking. I mean, I'm not fully broke, but we're pretty much fucking broke.
And I have all the gold.
I don't give a fuck about you. Go away, Miss Stomp Off in a fucking husk.
Tell him Lolliot will cover it.
I mean, he might, but have we heard anything about Valus?
Lolliot would have told you that his funeral is set for this evening.
So, and I kicked that to Sirris. Are you trying to make the funeral?
I want to be there.
That's gonna be a hard press, man.
I don't care.
All right, I go try to find. Probably not the one he just said. So hold my breath.
You step out. You begin leaving the cathedral. When you see Xan standing at one end of the main room to the cathedral, the worship room, and on the other, the far end, you can see Rosaline.
Is she like glaring at me?
She is just standing with a wide stance, arms straight down with her fists clenched, staring.
Is she covered in blood or anything?
She appears tattered.
Oh, I'm still in the room and I spotted her too.
I
Yes.
walk up to Rosalind. Girl, you deserve to hit me, and I deserve to get hit.
She kind of takes a deep breath and looks back and forth, then looks up towards the sun above. Her gaze slowly falls downward on the two of you. There's a brief pause. She says, I quit.
Quit.
I'm done.
Your Malleus is only counter.
She draws her sword and pierces it into the stone floor. She says, I quit.
We don't want this. We can't.
I don't know if you can. It took a certain person to draw it the first time. That was Lyle, and then it was me. I don't care.
This
If
is what happened last night.
it's not about you. If Maybelline and Lolliot won't track him down, those are my only two friends. I'm done. I'm done with all of this. I've followed them across the world, and they won't help me when I need it. I quit.
So, I wanna. I think this is being overglossed, and I want to make sure it's clear. I didn't vote to not chase him down. I voted to kill him after the worm. Apparently, I was a little confused
No,
on what we were voting on.
I understand. It's not about that. It's been a long time coming.
Her friend Peter, that's what.
And I don't fit in with these people anyway. Maybelline, she's out fighting her own wars, trying to chase down stars. And Lolliot, he's been fighting Relinquisher for, well, it seems like 30 years to him. I don't know. Everyone's different, and I don't fit in here. I'm not meant to be a part of this. I joined them because they were where I was at. I've just been dragged along for the last 15 years of my life, and it's taken me until now to realize it. And she starts crying.
I put my arm around her because I'm assuming she's like slunking to the floor. I put my arm around her.
She's pretty upset.
I just stand close. I'm not comfortable with us.
It's not that you're like you were dragged along because clearly you weren't. You were the carry for this group. You were carrying them. Every group, every. Fuck. You were the bright light among them. You were the song singer. You're the one that brings happiness to their lives. I've seen it when I was with you at the bars. We basically went to like every fucking bar here, and people were elated to see you. That's what you bring.
She says, look around you. This is Lolliot's kingdom. Do you see happiness here? Do the people look happy to you? From what you saw of Maybelline, does she seem like a happy person? I know I'm different, and that's fine. I'm okay with that, but this isn't me anymore. I told you I wanted to do something different. I wanted to see the world. Maybe this is my chance. You know, if the world ends in a year, I at least want to spend it the right way.
Who do you think could? Who's gonna take up your mantle?
You know, I was struggling with that, but it doesn't really matter anymore. Look, it's It's been great, and I've had a really fun time with you. But you're a sailor. I mean, you have to understand. There's just got to be more out there.
There is a lot more out there, but
Well,
there won't be a whole lot out there if this worm god that's supposed to be. They were talking something about prophecies, and I bring that crap up. Like that shit's kind of annoying, but like if any of that's even true, we don't have long for this world.
exactly. I've only
So
got a
why
year
not?
to see it all.
So why not rise up and stop it?
Lyle wants to stop it. He's had Callan on before. He can take care of it.
You yourself said that he was not he couldn't get attuned to it. That you were better fit.
Well, no, he never went on the same quests that I did. And Calanon was sad when I explained it, but this is for me. I need this, you know?
I look at I look at Michelle. She's made her choice. Let her be. And then I join into Rosalind. At least stay for the funeral. You can dress me up however you want.
No, I'll be here for a little while. I've shunned my responsibilities for long enough. I feel like I should at least let Elliot know. But I've
You
got to
wanna
go.
have a girls' day and go shopping?
I just need some time alone.
I hold up the hot pink stone. Will you at least be there if I come calling?
She reaches in her bag and pulls one out. It appears worn, but it seems like she hasn't looked at it in a while. She's kind of. You can see nostalgia roll across her face as if it were an emotion. She says, "Yeah, I've got you."
We're about to start, from the looks of it, one hell of a journey. And I'm not gonna say we won't need friends along the way. You said yourself your friends seem to have abandoned you, and we had one hell of a week. I plan on having one hell of a life.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be there if you need to talk to me. I've just I'm just now realizing that I've went pretty far and I've seen a lot of things, but I haven't really experienced much. One town to the next, all across two, three countries, two, three continents. I've been fighting nonstop. And there's more to it than that. So I'll be leaving soon. Maybe someone will find the sword and maybe they'll take care of Malleus for me. But
Don't you think we should hang like a sign on that? You said like people turn to ash when they touch this. Like I don't want like a bunch of just random retards running up and.
that's only when it's bound to me. And it's not anymore.
Valerie.
It's sleeping.
So like, what happens if I go and pick this thing up?
Strawberries.
She laughs a little bit. Says, "I don't think you could move it."
I don't think any of us. I don't think any of us could move it.
I go to grab it and pick it up.
You struggle with all of your might, veins bulging in your forehead, and it doesn't wiggle.
I'm gonna guess Cyrus probably will try, but I don't know.
Fucking hell, you weren't kidding.
Yeah, using all of your strength, it doesn't move at all.
I'm not gonna even attempt it. I'm not as strong as he is.
My daughter just walked up and sniffed me. I feel really uncomfortable now.
Well, strength isn't really a matter here.
It's will? Oh wait.
I'll try to move it myself.
Xan picks up the sword.
This dainty motherfucker.
I don't know what happened.
Rosaline goes, "There you go. Good luck. You'll need to
That
visit
don't
Alia if you mean to make it work.
that doesn't mean we don't need you.
No, but I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't need this. Not anymore.
I mean, that doesn't mean we don't need a wonderful fucking drunken bar.
I've had my time adventuring. I've had my time fighting. I might enjoy it. Maybe it's in my blood, but I'm done. Now, I'm gonna go rest. You know where I'll be. Feel free to see me anytime.
I'll keep that in mind.
And she walks out. Sunlight gathering around the contours of her body as she exits the cathedral. And that is where we will end our game tonight.
Zan, you realize she didn't leave you with a sheath.
I wasn't expecting.
Just putting that
Put
out
that
there.
out there.
uh,
She just